Well, this puts you in a fairly unique position because I haven't met anybody else who has a memory of the spirit world.
Yeah.
What's it like?
Well, it depends where you are in the spirit world as to what it is like. A lot of people from Earth arrive in the spirit world in quite a dark condition, and when I say dark condition, what I'm doing is referring to their condition of love. So in other words, in the spirit world, it's your condition of love that determines where you arrive and how you generally progress thereafter. And so if a person has a poor condition of love on Earth, where they've used their will on Earth to attack others, to harm others, and to cause harm to the environment and so forth, then what happens is that when they pass, they're in a fairly poor condition of love, and their environment in the spirit world matches their condition. And so for the majority of people who pass, they pass into what's called the first sphere, or the first dimension of the spirit world. And the first dimension ranges from a very, very terrible conditions, which match what Dante's description of hell, for example, and even worse than that, complete darkness, desolation, no love, right the way through to what's called the top of the first sphere, which is a location called Summerland, which is where many children arrive, and that could be likened to a place that's the most beautiful place you can imagine here on Earth. So that's the first dimension. The different levels of the first dimension range between those particular conditions. And the average person on Earth passes into one location in the first dimension in the spirit world.
And that's dependent upon what?
Primarily, as I said, their development in love. So how much they understand love and practice it in their day-to-day life. It's got nothing to do with religious background, racial background, gender background, nothing to do with what kind of life you led in terms of what society believed about you or felt about you. It's got everything to do with what in reality is love from God's perspective. It's God that set up the universal system, and so therefore it's God's laws that are enacted, not man's. And so quite often people feel that they're in a good condition of love, but when they pass into the spirit world, they soon come to terms with the fact, for many, they soon come to terms with the fact that they're not in as good condition of love as what they believed. There are very few people who pass into the second sphere in the spirit world, or the second dimension, and historically there's only been a few people that have ever passed into the third dimension of the
Can you give some examples?
Gandhi passed into the third sphere of the spirit world, into the third dimension, directly. There were historically some of the people who you would like, they're mostly unknowns, people that you wouldn't, that the average person wouldn't know, because they've lived very mundane lives on Earth and lived very normal, what would be classified as normal lives on Earth. Often it's the people who've lived famous lives on Earth who pass into the first condition into the first sphere in quite a poor condition, because they had a lot of addictions in play, many of them, and also had a lot of intentions that weren't based on love.
So the afterlife is, as you see it, it's like people who pass into the hells, as you call it.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a position of permanency, of forever torment, but that's a transitional period, and every soul has the chance to progress. Is that correct?
That's correct, yeah. So every soul, every person, no matter where they are, whether they're here on Earth or in the spirit world, have the chance to progress out of their condition. And the amount of desire they have to do that, or what I would classify as the exercise of their free will, how much they want to do it, will determine on how fast they move from one dimension to the next. Unfortunately, on Earth here, there are a lot of impediments, social impediments, to progressing beyond a certain condition, because the more your condition of love is out of harmony with the world's condition, the more generally you're attacked. And this is why the majority of people on Earth finish up staying in a certain condition until they pass, because there is this general weight of the world which prevents the person from growing in further conditions of love without, because of their own fear of being attacked, sort of causes them to stagnate, if you like. And so there's many people on earth with good intentions, and I'd say there's billions of people on earth with good intentions, but unfortunately our unhealed emotions cause us to be very afraid of different things, and particularly